Matt Milano probably as well as anyone in this building. You've been his position coach, his coordinator now. How tough is this for you to see a player go through this? And I mean, on the personal level, one, but then also, you know, you guys need to rely on him to be able to be out on the field, and he's been unable to do that the last few years. So how tough has that been to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's really tough on him, you know, and, you know, on the personal level, you know, the guy does everything right. Like when you talk about taking care of your body, all those type of things. And as I always tell the players, you can't let, no matter what the circumstance is, don't let negativity creep in your head, right? Because that, to me, there's a little bit of, that doesn't help the healing process at all, right? So, you know, we're going to continue to take it day by day and, you know, keep Matt positive. And I know he'll do everything he can to be out there. But it's certainly, all these guys want to play. They play this game because they love it, you know, and brings them joy. And to not be out there is not fun.
Have you noticed any of that negativity with him? It would help.
Never. Sorry to interrupt you, but no, he's got a great mindset. He doesn't let that stuff creep in, and you know, we'll see where it goes. In good shape.
You have a few game sample size of Cole with this starting role. What have you seen out of him and just what he's been able to do so far, or what he still needs to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing is some growth. I mean, the guy's playing a lot faster. He's playing a lot faster, and I think we're just going to continue to see him go like this. You know, is there plays that he wants back, that everybody wants back? Yeah. You know, but once you minimize those, which he's doing, you know, that's when you really start to see that exponential growth. And you know, for him, it's continue to you know, grow comfortable in not only what we're doing, but understanding what the offense is trying to present. You know, that you know, part of becoming a pro every year is going to get better and better. And certainly we're seeing growth, and he's done some really good things. You know, so.
You guys don't blitz often, but when you do, what do you want to see for your group to just be more successful? And that is a card that you feel like you want to play or you need to play in a game.
Yeah, so, you know, really when you blitz, you know, the first thing you want to make sure is that whatever situation that blitz is that, you know, we're precise in what we're doing. And then secondly, it's whatever we're trying to accomplish in that blitz, whoever we're trying to target, whatever players we're getting matched up on, we want to see some nastiness and some blitzers that win. And, you know, in a sense, trying to create chaos, not only in the run game, but in the pass game.
Bobby, if you're going back, looking at the film last night, how would you assess Trey and Christian's performance?
Yeah, I don't think they'd sit up here and say it was where it needed to be or where they wanted it to be. You know, there's certain standard that they hold themselves to, and that obviously we hold them to. But like I say, like if we have to hold you to a standard as coaches, as an organization, then you're not going to make it. And certainly there's plays they want back. You know, certainly they're not satisfied with their performance, and you know, I know they'll be chomping at the bit to get back at it.
Bobby, with how well the defense played throughout the first half, when you went back and watched the film, what kind of led to the breakdowns over those first couple series in the second half?
Yeah, I think the first thing I'll always say is they'll start with me. You know, I need to make sure I'm putting our guys in position. You know, I think really when you look at it, what it was, I don't want to discredit the plays that they made by any means. It's the NFL. People are going to make plays. But there was a lot of clips that we watched together to where, you know, if we just follow our fundamentals and technique or process of whatever's going on in that certain play, that our result could be better, you know, and it, you know, when talking about the second half. And really for us, there was 3 drives that weren't up to our standard. And we've got to eliminate that, and we've got to do it collectively as a unit.
What makes makes Bijan Robinson unique?
I'm just getting into the film, but from what I've seen so far, I mean, he can do it all. He can tote the rock. He can play in the pass game. Just watched the clip. Extremely good slasher, cutter. And he'll certainly be a challenge.
Does the left-hand quarterback change anything for you in your game plan?
Just a few things, but nothing crazy. Just a couple fundamental things, and we see a left-handed quarterback twice a year every time in this division, so our guys are used to it.
You had May in their grasp a couple of times, and he was able to get out. How much of that is just the good young quarterback making plays versus maybe a lack of I don't know if it's fundamentals or something that maybe you guys can clean up too to make sure he's on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes both ways. You want to give credit to other players, but we're not, in credit to him. There's no, but there's certain things that we preach, and in the end, it comes down to it. Like, guys got to be on the ground. Like, it doesn't matter if it's running back, quarterback, wide receiver. Guys got to be on the ground. That's what has to happen, and certain things we can certainly do to emphasize those positions that we could potentially be in. But, in the end, when it comes down to it, guys, offensive players that are carrying the ball need to be on the ground.
Your sense.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sean spoke about wanting to see more physicality out of the team as a whole. You spoke about the nastiness when you're blitzing. How do you get more of that out of your players?
Yeah, I think, if it's not where you want it, you point it out. We certainly have physical players. We have that mindset. Every once in a while, there's days where, and I'm not necessarily talking about yesterday, but there's moments where you go back to training camp. There's one day you might show up and be as physical as all get out. The next day, so you just got to keep re-emphasizing the consistency and that physicality.
For so long, the secondary was so much a part of the identity of this team. There's been some
Right.
turnover the last couple of years. I know Trey's back and
Right.
Christian has established himself. Where do you sense the resiliency of this group is? You guys have been statistically pretty good against the pass, but obviously a lot of things we're talking about this week about working on. Where do you sense the resiliency level is of that group?
Oh, it's at an all-time high. Like you just said, you can't ride the wave of the NFL, the ebbs and flows of the NFL. I learned that from a lot of coaches that I've been around. Certainly there's a standard that we hold ourselves to, and the guys know. They know when it's not up to standard, and they know what the expectation is. Our guys have a lot of pride in what they do, and if it's not up to par, they'll be the first ones to tell you that things need to get fixed. There's no doubt that the pride and the resiliency of that group will step forward, and it'll be a week-to-week process. Whether you talk about the D-line, the linebackers, the DBs, whether you talk about the whole unit, and that would go with any position.
You mentioned how guys know when they're maybe not meeting the expectations. What are those conversations then like? If it's we both know, how do you go over it with guys?
It's just, I don't know if brutal honesty is the word, but it's just the truth. You just give them the truth, and they know what the truth is, and they know what it's supposed to look like. And if it's not good enough, that's not good enough. And when you try to tiptoe around it, that's not going to accomplish anything. As long as we're telling the truth and we're all on the same page, and whether they like it or not, that's fine. They're going to respect it. And it's one thing we do here is we deal in truth, and we deal in truth when it's good, and we deal in truth when it's not where it needs to be. And our guys respond in general. So I look forward to getting to practice. I look forward to this week of preparation against a dang good football team, and that's the great thing about coaching, is seeing that growth.
I have a very specific question, but what do your Mondays look like? Do those conversations happen on Mondays? When does that process kind of happen?
Yeah, you try to put the game to bed on Monday, but yes, definitely on Monday and a little bit carried into Tuesday, but try to do it as soon as possible.
I'm not sure what your interactions can be, but what have they been with Larry and Michael back?
Yeah, they're just around a little bit based off the rules, and it's been great. I know they're excited to be back, and especially when they're back. But they've been great. They've been positive, and look forward to having them back when they can come back.
Sorry, what did you see from Landon Jackson's debut?
Yeah, I thought it was a good start. I thought it was a solid start. That's his first NFL regular season action, and I think the more and more he plays, the more impact even we're going to see out of him. So look forward to seeing that whenever that comes.
Are you sitting here after 5 weeks? I don't want to say surprise isn't the right word, but like the Dion Walker has been so up to all the positions and challenges you put in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if surprises, because you knew it was in there. It was a matter of how fast it was going to come, and you were just ready to know, to understand that, there was going to be some things. And again, he'd be the first to tell you he's got a lot of things to improve. But, when I think it was the speed, like I said, in which that would show up at a consistent rate, and certainly we're not as consistent as we need to be, but we're getting more consistent. And I think the thing that sticks out to me is he doesn't want to, the importance of not wanting to let your teammates down and how important his job is on each play. And, I think the most there was a play where I was like, okay, this guy's starting to assert himself. There was a run and there was a double on him, and, he ended up dumping the guard. And, I was like, okay. He's starting to, that confidence starts to grow. Talked about that last week with Cole, and it's pretty cool to see. Pretty cool to see.
Play in this last game?
Run play in the last game. Yep.
With injuries and Larry's suspension, you've had to use some different guys, at D tackle. I mean, how helpful has it been to have a guy with DaQuan's experience?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great because he just does what we ask him to do, and he's been a pro about it. He's always been a pro, and it's been great. It's been great. It's been a blessing in disguise to kind of have him to where he was, and now we're kind of, moving the pieces around a little bit. But he's done everything we've asked him to do.
We've asked you about Greg live the past couple of weeks. Just going back to that first defensive series for him.
Yep.
Going back to seeing him do the things you needed, just what did you assess just out of that? And then the second part to that is, where does that consistency come in with him and how he brings that through a full 60 minutes?
Yeah, I think every year is different, and I think with all the best players in the NFL, no matter what position, you kind of see guys try to get into a rhythm, and it might be at different times. Obviously, the earlier the better, but I know he wasn't happy with how the year started, and whatever that may be, that might just be a kind of a mental check yourself, to see how I get myself into a rhythm. And certainly myself and the coaching staff are a part of that. So we try to help him as much as we can with that. And, it was good to see him impact the game early like he did.